Welcome back to another episode of Low Range. This time round we had the challenge of getting out to a part of the Gulf that's never been accessed by four-wheel drive before. Talk about a journey of discovery. We realised pig tracks are a lot more useful than we give them credit for, and we almost lose Gleno's brand new 79 series when the tide changes. And then Glen gets Kenno's expensive lure caught in a tree. This was an epic adventure, and at times a comedy of errors, but I think you'll enjoy every minute of it.
Roothy's climbing sand dunes, Gleno's crossing creeks, Kenno's kept out yonder and it could be there for weeks. They're on an adventure, that is nothing strange. They love forward travel, living life in low range. Do 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 do. A do 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 do. A do 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 do. A do 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 do.
Hey guys, welcome to Lorella Springs.
Finally here, heard lots of good stories about this place.
I'm glad I dragged the tinny 3,000 odd kilometres, and I'm looking forward to chasing some barra around.
Oh mate, I hope you get that chance. I've never been here. I've been both sides but never been to Lorella. And like you, Gleno, I've heard lots of people talk about it. Really, everyone who talks about it just talks about how much unexplored country there is up there and how much water frontage there is that no one's even seen. Lorella Springs Station is a 1 million acre property. This place is huge. We're going to be following a fairly new track that heads out towards the Gulf. But instead of taking it all the way to the end, we're going to peel off into the scrub and try and cut a new track through to the Gulf. We're hoping to find plenty of beautiful sand, perfect campsites, and maybe a whole lot of fish.
This is like heaven for you, isn't it, Kenno?
Yeah, mate, pretty much. It has everything that I live for. My expectations of Lorella were adventure, fishing, swimming in springs, all the good things in life.
The thought of getting out to the Gulf, I'll tell you the truth about that. I'm a little bit apprehensive about that because of my new truck, but if we make it, this is going to be one almighty trip.
As we're driving into Lorella, the track's getting smaller and smaller, and all of a sudden, we've run up across these guys in the creek, bogged in soft sand. Gleno's got a new toy.
Yeah, we're going to try it out. You got a recovery point under there?
Yeah, there's one here.
Beautiful.
Let's get into it,
I'll bring
eh?
the truck down, we'll get some gear out, eh?
We didn't even get down the driveway before we had to get the recovery gear out.
Try out the new winch. Looking forward to this. Big Bluetooth baby.
Yeah, Kenno, you want to take care of that for us? I'm a new gadget guy. If there's anything new, Bluetoothy, Wi-Fi, or whatever the technological term is, I have to have it.
The situation was pretty easy. All we had to do was hook up the winch, pull them about 1 metre, they're back on the sturdy stuff and away.
Yeah, they were very grateful. They were a nice bunch of guys.
Good on you, AJ. Thanks, mate. Good on you.
We finally made it to the homestead and we met Rhett and Marie. Lovely people.
We were really keen for details on this new track Rhett wanted us to make.
But Rhett had so much time for us. He got his computer opened up and he zoomed in on Google Maps exactly where he wanted us to go.
It felt like he was just turning the keys to Lorella over to us. And I'm sure he does that with everyone who comes here. It was just a lovely feeling. Now, where do you reckon we go from there? Try and sneak around the edge?
Truthfully, if you've got that as your waypoint and you have a photo of this, you may choose to sort of skim up through here and straight through here, following that up through there. It's firm ground on those islands, but you've got like 20 metres of low range, third gear, and give it everything you got type thing.
Look, Lorella Springs is a 1 million acre property, and that's very hard to fathom. He gave us the task of going to this new stretch of beach so that he could open up new campsites.
So I have 2 sets of photos. We'll have my piece of paper, and then we'll put the waypoints into the GPSs.
Yep.
And that way we got 3 different ways of getting there, maybe?
And 3 different ways of getting ourselves completely lost.
Or you come back and get the chopper.
Well, there's only one way to get a real scope on how big Lorella Springs actually is, and that's from the air.
It was great up in the chopper. The takeoff experience first, that feeling where you just lift off is awesome. And then once you get up there and you can see everything, it's unbelievable.
Going up in the chopper with these three guys was really cool. You know, particularly no doors on the side. It was like a roller coaster that you can control yourself.
The Lost City was great. I wasn't sure why it was called the Lost City before we went out there, but as soon as I saw it, I realised what was going on there. It actually looks like towers coming up like city, but it's not, it's rock formations.
You know what? There's a certain grandeur itself in just thinking that what man can do, Mother Nature can do so much better. This really is an unexplored wilderness. You know, it's just so relaxing around the homestead and the bar area. People relax in the hot springs and the family pets dig in for the night. Gee, it's a nice atmosphere. And the night before we're due to set out to see if we can find the coast to charter a whole new route, Rhett turned on a bit of a farewell dinner. There was a bit of Last Supper involved in this, I'm sure.
Great people, just really look after the people that come out here.
It was very nice of him. His whole family was there. And it gave us an opportunity to talk to Rhett and ask a few more questions about the area.
That was amazing before, you know, like going through the Google Maps and stuff. And like, you're seeing places from the sky, I guess, now that you never knew, even though you've been here 30 years.
Well, for a long time I used to do lots of big long walks where I go 100, 200, 300 kilometres through the bush. And in the wet season you'd have to do it, not the dry, otherwise Walking, yeah, with a big backpack on, you just disappear for a few weeks. But back in the old days, it was like with a satellite photo or the old army maps.
Yeah.
But as time's gone by, I don't know, about 15 years ago, whatever, Google Earth came out and, oh my God, like...
You got lots of crocodiles here?
Yes, we do. Yeah, when we first moved out here in the 80s, the place was full of crocodiles. Everywhere you went, there were crocodiles. But the cane toads came through early 90s, I think it was.
Yeah.
And it was almost like they became extinct. We never saw the only crocodiles you saw were dead floating on the banks everywhere. And there were dead barramundi, dead crocodiles that stunk everywhere. And for quite a few years, you hardly ever saw a crocodile. It was like there were none here, and I was pretty upset that the cane toads had wiped them out. But every year, bit by bit, we see more and more crocodiles. And now, like, pretty much you can go to a creek crossing 2 kilometres down, you'll see a crocodile if you drive across it. Down here at the hot water spring, if you go down with the light, you'll see a crocodile. Yeah. A lot of our river systems are very clear water, and so many people come back and say, oh, we went out there and saw no crocodiles at all. And I tell people, well, crocodiles are like dinosaurs. They're the oldest living animal on Earth, and the reason they're still here is you're not supposed to see them.
You're not supposed to see them, yeah. The start of a new day. It's subtle, but it's stunning all at once. Ah, there's nothing like the sun coming up over the horizon. It's just magic. And talking magic, the thermal springs look magical as the steam rolls off them. It's always really exciting when you're forging a new track through fresh country, but I'm also fully aware of the fact here that Rhett hasn't been there and nobody else has been there, so this is all virgin country. And it's all right to say, oh, that looks like it's passable, but until you're on the ground with wheels underneath you, nothing's passable until you've done it.
Well, guys, this is it.
New style of adventure for us, mate, eh? Can't wait to get out there and create our own little piece of history.
I'm in a few minds about this one. I'm excited because of where we're heading, but I also have a slight bit of nervousness, which I suppose comes with the not knowing where we're going to end up, I suppose.
Well, we've found lots of old tracks, we've reopened lots of old routes, we've done lots of things like that, but actually creating a new track you know, something that'll go down on the map, get graded eventually, whatever. That's kind of different. That's cool.
I woke up to the sound of a freight train in my mind. I put toothpaste on my toast and left the coffee behind. I'm walking up the road, but I'm headed south. The city never talks, it either whispers or shouts. I'm just checking in with you before I check out.
Well, we can't be more prepared. You know, we're full of fuel, we're full of water, we've got food for about a week and a half. We've checked the vehicles over, we've done everything we can, but it's going to be up to Mother Nature, the rest of it.
Gentlemen, we are exactly 23.4 kilometres from where we're going to start making this track. And that says the crow flies.
The main track out, before we had to take a turn off, took us 3 hours. It was slow going, a lot of bull dust, a lot of thick scrub. I could see, looking to the sides, how the track had been made in the past. And that sort of freaked me out a lot because we had about 5.8 kilometres of making our own tracks.
Glen's been with me more than enough times to know what carving a new track means. But quite often we're just opening up an old track or whatever, and Milo has taken most of the damage, or in the old days he's followed through with his 80 or something else. But here he is in his brand new truck. And even though he built it for jobs like this, at the end of the day, Glen's someone who just loves his vehicles. He loves everybody's vehicles. He hates doing damage to something like a new truck. This thing's got about 7,000 kilometres on it.
460 metres, guys.
Very close now, according to mine.
The road's going to hook around to the left and we're going to sort of continue straight, I think.
On the VMS, we can see the GPS coordinates coming up where we had to turn right. But it was still very thick, and I was sort of still going, I don't want to do this.
Guys, I think I can see our starting point here. There's a bit of clear country to the right.
Cool.
Here we are after 3 hours, and I was really happy, to be honest, because there it was, a bit of open ground, a fair swathe of open ground. So maybe, just maybe, this was going to work.
John turned in, Glen turned in, I turned in, and I couldn't see the ends of my fishing rods. First tree, all 3 of the bottoms of my rods got snapped off. I just toasted another rod on a tree.
I can't believe it.
We just turned in and I just smashed all my rods.
How much money have you gone through on our trips in fishing rods?
Oh, thousands of dollars.
Still put them on the front of the car.
I still put them on the front.
Well, to be honest, I thought, Kenno, you've done this on purpose, mate. Because you know you're not going to catch any fish, so you might as well disable the gear right now.
Looking at that thick scrub over there, that doesn't excite me. That makes me a bit nervous, a bit apprehensive. Reducing the value of my truck for the sake of a couple of kilometres. That's the bit I'm not sure about.
What we'd planned was to follow along what was an old washway, you know, an old creek bed. And that's what it looked like on Google Earth. It looked like there were big patches of fairly open country with just the odd bit of growth where things tightened down. And the whole plan and the waypoints had been set up to go bang, 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 so that we could run along the edge of these rather than in the middle, because of course you're only a couple of metres above sea level, so in the middle they're very moist. That's where you can fall through. The plan looked like it might work. That is, until the track turned into a river. You know what, I think Google Map might have been taken when the tide was out, because this looked like a nice little road.
Okay, how about I get the photos?
Yeah, get the photos. Let's have a look.
Here's our sea point, all sticking to the left of the river.
Wait on, where's the river? That's not the river.
That'd have to be the river there.
That's the mud puddle. Do you reckon that looks like this?
Well, this is 11 years ago.
Is it 11 years ago?
Yeah, it says right there, 13th of September 2004.
2004?
I just looked at that.
That's only, yeah, I didn't see
years
that
ago.
at all. That's only 11 wet seasons
So
ago.
it'll
Glenn.
change big time. This trip wasn't going to be as simple as following GPS coordinates from here on in. It was looking like we might have to turn around already, because John punched forward in Milo and couldn't get through. What came in really handy was having a drone. So Gav, the pilot, put it up in the air, and we all huddled over and looked at the viewfinder to see where we had to go, where the openings were, where the water was, where the water wasn't.
That looks pretty solid green stuff. Oh, hang on.
There's our track.
What's that mean?
We had a huge advantage here because we could see on the screen attached to the drone kind of roughly the open spaces in front of us. Now, it didn't do anything other than save us from just plunging into deep growth mile after mile after mile. This is potentially fall through the crust stuff here, guys, but stay with me if you can.
We headed off and we just followed our nose. We knew sort of point A and point B where we had to go. So we used compass marks, heading to make sure we're heading in the right direction. All right, Kenno, clear the path.
We're just going to have to try and follow the swathes of open country in the hope that these represented the new path of the wet season waterway. Crash, bang, crash, crash, bang, tickle. You guys are having too much fun. I'll punch Milo through and we'll see what happens.
There you go, Gleno.
Well, you just watch my awnings, mate, that'll be good.
Yeah, I come through no worries, no stakes.
Yeah, Gleno, your rings are looking good, mate.
Ah, scratch, scratch, scratch.
Oh, come on, Glenn, you don't see me wincing. Someone gave me another 4 litres of British green before I left, though.
We'll be able to paint Milo at camp tonight, eh?
Bring your roller and your brush, did
This is a little bit interesting with the trailer on.
While Gleno 76 is a wider vehicle, Kenno needs a much larger turning circle to get the trailer around the trees and the stumps. He'll probably end up doing more clearing than both of us before him. After we'd shoved through a fair bit of scrub, we came across this nice flat clearing. And it didn't look like there were going to be any waterways around, so being late in the afternoon, it just looked like a campsite to me. In this sort of country, a big fire is a necessity. The temperature drops really quickly once the sun goes down, but more importantly, the flames work to scare away dingoes and pigs and the big snapping handbags that are pretty common around here. Okay, now, tonight, we're going to do an old favourite, a really old favourite. It's very, very simple. It's bangers and mash, but we're going to do it with a bit of a twist. Basically, a red wine and onion gravy. I've got a bit of oil going here in the pan, and I'm going to add some onions. Gee, you guys look comfortable up there.
It's not bad.
You're all right?
Yeah, we've got a table and sofas. And...
Hey, the dog's on the table, mate. As
Yeah,
workplace
no,
health and safety officer, I'm not sure if that's...
He's all right. He's
all right?
This is Roothy's Bar and Grill.
Well, he can go wherever he wants, that dog, can't he? This is brown sugar. Always have some brown sugar on hand, if for no other reason than if you keep it in a box, it'll last forever. I think I had this up the Cape about 3 years ago. There we go.
No wonder there's ants everywhere.
It used to be white sugar. Just goes to show if you keep it long enough. You know, you should always be very delicate with mustard. So I'm going to put about half a bottle in.
Oh, wow.
French mustard. That'll zap it up a bit. It's time to add just a little bit of red wine. Now, whatever you do, don't hold the button and talk to the camera for too long. Oh, there we go, I did it. Never mind. There's lots of red wine in there. And as you can see, we're starting to get some interesting flavours in there, aren't we? You know what's missing? Salt. Salt is missing. So I've got a new bottle of soy sauce. I'm only going to put a little bit in. I should do. Some people, when it comes to crushed garlic, put it in at the beginning, you know, and fricassee the onions in it. Now, that works really well, but it gives you a whole different flavour. The flavour I want to achieve tonight, I'm going to put the garlic in now. And anyone who says I forgot to put it in when I put the onions in is in strife, okay? Right, it doesn't matter.
Just put a little.
Bit more in. Oh dear.
Are you serious?
Do you know why we spend our time in remote places? Because we eat a lot of garlic. We can't go back to civilisation.
We don't get sick.
We never get sick. This is true. This is true. These are limes. Now, I did originally buy these because I asked our purchasing officer to buy a certain variety of Mexican beer, and he came back with Carlton Draft. Now, I know he's a Queenslander through and through, but that's the first I heard of Carlton Draft being Mexican.
And again, I'm at a loss what this is going to taste like.
I don't know what it's going to taste like. Yes, I do. It'll be great.
Tell you what, mate, it smells good.
Yeah, I know, it's weird, isn't it? I like
Smells
weird. I do
beautiful.
weird really well. Should see the girl I'm married. Wow. I never said that. Episode 8, Roothy's last trip to the bush. After that, he lived there permanently. I wouldn't mind if I had something like that to live in. It's growing on me, Kenno.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Hey?
Roothy's Bar and Grill.
Roothy's Bar and Grill. There we go. In goes the grey box. There was quite a bit of grey box there. I don't know if you noticed that. That's because I want this to thicken up and have that lovely beefy, salty taste that grey box gives it. I measured that water before. I know I've got about 3 cups worth of water in there. About what I need for these potatoes that I'm about to mash. There we go. Thanks, Deb.
Don't forget to peel them.
The only trick to doing these normally is to don't forget to peel them. Oh, that's going to be hard, mate, I tell you. The only trick to this normally is to stir it. Cream and Deb. And you're wondering, how did we manage to get cream out here? Well, we didn't. We bought it in the fridge and it froze, which is why there's one big lump down the bottom.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, bung them in there, mate. Oh, look at that delicate one at a time.
I would have just
How
poured
good's
them
that,
in.
eh?
It's all calculated.
How good's that? It's all calculated.
Ken Dog?
Wolfie,
Don't
get out
start.
of it. Get out of it, Wolfie.
There we go.
Hey, that's all right, John.
Is that all right?
That is...
How good? I need to know how good it is. I need reassurance.
Fired, it's good.
Good old Roothy's Bar and Grill.
Yeah.
So there you go. On your next trip, go through Kenno's drive-through. You'll find it right next to Roothy's Bar and Grill. And in the morning, you can wake up and Gleno's Cafe, De Wheels, will be right there ready for you. Bangers and mash.
New track, new day. Beautiful.
Just as I fell asleep the night before, I remembered that up the Cape, quite often, those pig pads, tracks, can be the easiest places to push your way through the bush. Pigs aren't stupid at all.
We noticed a lot of dingo tracks, cow prints, pig trotters. It was everything out here.
We'd only made it about 500 metres the first day, so we were pretty keen to get up early the next morning and make a start.
It was safe to assume we're going to need some extra tools today.
We fueled up the chainsaw, made sure it was running fine, and off we set. Because this is the track that we had to build, we had to discover. We couldn't follow the GPS points. This is where the adventure really started.
How are we looking up there, mate?
Find it?
Ah, well, there's an animal footpad through here.
Yeah.
Right.
Probably just a dog, I'd say. You can't see the prints, but they've used it a fair bit. And if we follow it, it's pretty much the gentlest path through the bush. I think a lot of it I can just push through with Milo.
Within the first couple of 100 metres, we come across our first obstacle.
Oh, our bulldozer's working again. Our human bulldozer.
John was pretty keen on just pushing through, and that's John's style. But I was dead set keen on not getting any scratches on my new rig.
Just if you keep my tyres on the left-hand side of those little sticks there, Kenno.
I felt for Gleno because straight away I realised that it wasn't going to be that easy.
Do you want to stay with me for a minute? Yeah. You two guys?
Milo's done a fair bit of bush clearing, and one of the good things about this country was that the scrub was growing in sand, which meant that if you hit it at the right angle, you would just kind of push it out.
Come down the animal track here, Gleno.
And the bonus here was that now much larger animals will be able to follow the original animal track. A rhino, maybe? An elephant? Aha! Who knows what's up here?
If you can push it over, I'll run the tyre over it.
Yeah, that'll do.
Righto. Follow the animal track.
The last thing we wanted to do out there was change a tyre. So we were very careful with the stakes, the way that we pulled trees out, the direction that we pushed them over.
Yeah, this one you're gonna have to watch with your tyres. It's a stake.
That's it, mate.
I had a feeling it might be easier this way. I'm just going for a quick look. The animals usually know. That's what's got me.
And then we need to spear through there, but then it gets a bit tough, doesn't it?
I'm going to go through here and see what it's like. Because back there's pretty much a lot more open. Right, Kenno, if you could just be my eyes from behind, please.
Yep, no worries, mate. I'll keep an eye on your awnings and your roof topper.
But not the GoPro. Hey, Kenno.
Oh. Look, there's some places you can't get rid of every bit of stick or every branch that's out there. And the feeling for me when you're driving through and you can just hear the screech, you can hear the branches and the twigs scraping up against the paintwork.
When you're driving through that sort of scrub, all the branches and the limbs that you've chopped rubbing along the side of the car sound like fingernails down a blackboard. Who's out here spotting for me?
The cruiser copped some scratches. So I got the chainsaw out and cut a path.
I reckon that one there, Glenos, and cut yourself a nice shape here, eh?
Just cut the limbs off that were in the way to get us through without any scratches.
Made slow going, probably do 500 metres in every couple of hours, but it was still a great adventure.
It's always a worry of getting tyres staked up here. We were lucky enough that we didn't get any because our eyes were peeled the whole time. There was a couple in the track, but we really marked them out and we let everybody know and we watched everybody go through.
This is a lovely big clear sector right through here. There's another one just on the other side too. And they both, this one runs a bit lower. You can see there's a bit more of the light green grass, which means it's been wetter later in the season. That one's kind of dry, it's a little bit higher. So I'm thinking at this stage we stick to the lower one, at least until it starts to get muddy.
Oh, that's my paint.
Oh, this is awesome. Oh, listen to that. Kenno, I thought you said we didn't need to cut anything down.
That wasn't very nice sounding.
My GPS says we're kind of heading south-southeast, which is not really where we planned, but we seem to be following the lowest point. The altitude's going down, so what do you reckon?
Mate, I reckon as long as we hit the beach, we've conquered. So it doesn't really matter if we where we hit it, does it?
I don't think so. What do you reckon, Kenno?
Yeah, mate, these trees are starting to look a lot mangrove-like, so we are getting close to salt water.
Yeah, we ideally, whatever happens, we need to sort of start swinging around to the left anyway.
At some stage, yeah, I agree.
Before too long we had no choice but to turn off the Clear Creek bed and head left towards our final destination. Gleno was just over the moon about that. As we got closer to the ocean, it seems the bush is getting thicker. It didn't last too long though.
That away!
And all of a sudden, I've broken out of little open areas into what looks like huge open areas all over the place. And I remember thinking, this is great, this is fantastic. I'm not sure which way to go yet. I think maybe we should spin around the left-hand side, but listen, just be a tad careful here.
Started making our way out onto the salt pans, but it brings on another nasty, and that's bogging down. Guys, I have broken through.
Gleno, this might be a winch, do you reckon? And, oh, hang on, here he comes.
No, I'm down. Yes, this would be a winching, I'd say.
Well, I knew Glenn could pull Kenno out, no worries. And all of a sudden, with so many options, I figured I'd better go ahead in Milo, the lightest vehicle of the lot, and try and scout out which direction to go.
This, you know, we often talk about the three-car theory, that the first car gets through, the second car drives over, third one sinks into the mud. Guess what? Third car.
Fun in the mud.
Keep up the positive attitude, Kenno. You're going to need it up ahead.
What I'm trying to do here is just stay to the higher tufts of grass, higher sandy areas, and steer clear of the salt pans themselves. As much as anything, the grass gives me a bit of traction. So once those guys are free, we might be able to persevere and ever onwards.
I looked out of Milo's window and I thought, that looks just like the tide line back home at the mud flats. That's when I realised, hang on a minute, tide comes up here.
Okay, Kenno, you ready, mate?
Yeah, mate, I'm just going to let you take up tension and hopefully just skull drag me out of here.
Here we go, tension's coming, mate.
Give it a little bit, mate.
Mate, you're going to have to give it some more, I'm dragging in. We're there, mate. We're there.
Beauty.
I think I'm going to have to go for a walk here and step it out. I nearly got bogged in that last little bit.
Oh, sometimes it's better to be seeing things from the ground, because if you had any idea of what was up ahead, you'd just turn around and give up.
Do you copy back there?
Yes, John, I got you.
Mate, I've just made a realisation up here. I've done a few scoop tests. There's mud everywhere. And you know what we got here, don't you? This is low tide.
Ah.
Come on, guys. We don't have any time to muck around here. All of a sudden, I'm thinking, what we have to do here is stick to the edges, because they're the highest spots. Stick to the edges of the tidal plane and do the island bouncing thing to get there, which is about the same time I realised we were smack bang in the middle of it too. It might have had quite a few dog legs in, but we sort of worked out a route to get there.
That bit I was on there, mate, needs a bit of berries to get through.
Yeah, a bit soft on the left there, Kenno. Driving across these mud flats was a big learning experience for me in the 79 series, because I knew I had a lot of weight over the rear axle, and knowing whether to use second gear low range, third gear low range, whether to use the rear locker.
The plan seemed to be working. As long as we could get up onto the grassy little mounds, it was fine to dive down. As long as you didn't have to travel too far, you could get through.
Oh yeah, it's soft.
Notice Gleno's taking a slightly different line to me. That's essential in this terrain.
You pulled that second gear and just reversed it.
No, that was second to third.
Here I go.
Come on, Kenno. This is a big ask when you're towing a trailer. Ha! Good on you, mate. We're another step closer.
The second last waypoint on our GPS had saw us less than a kilometre from our final destination. We were so close, but so far away. We had an estuary in the way. The photos were that old, we couldn't rely on them.
There was a fair bit of discussion about which would be the best way to go. You know, we had waypoints that we could follow, or we had our eyes and what we could see. And I was pretty much in favour of what I could see. We might just have found a spot through. I can see the sea up here. I can't tell you how good it felt to just pop up over that last rise, and there it was. Bingo. river, beach. Wow, it felt really, really good. We've done it. We've hit the coast.
Mate, how good does this look and feel?
When we first popped out at the Gulf, I was excited because there was white sand there. I was expecting that there was going to be mangroves and mud flats, but we found white sand, high and dry, beautiful campsite, next to a little estuary. Amazing.
It looks like rock, guys. Oh, I'm going to give it a go. This is actually the best traction we've had all trip.
See if you can make a nice little exit for me.
Oh, it won't be too easy for you, mate. And this is the one and only little patch of white sand in the place.
Just for a mud crab, Kenno?
Jump out and grab him.
Mate, I think there'll be a few in here.
Incoming Kenno.
Righto, Ken Dog, let's see you do it, man. Open up your window so you can grab a few of those mud crabs on the way through, mate.
I might just set up camp here and fish from the camper.
He's done it! He's done it! Yo, beauty! This is it, guys!
I really can't explain how good it is when you've got a mission like this where you honestly don't think you got that much of a chance of cracking it right on the nut, and you do, you know? And essentially what we've done here is open up a piece of Australia to vehicular traffic from now on. People will be coming here fishing and camping, and we had something to do with making that first track through. It's so special, it's not funny.
Ah, caught a stick. Now I've got a tangle.
That was a huge accomplishment. But it's different. I'm used to like eastern beaches in Queensland, or WA, you get your western beaches. But you're right up the top, watching the sun set, mind-blowing. I'd never experienced anything like this before. The place was alive.
I'm not a big fan of getting out of bed early, but I thought being at the Gulf is probably worthwhile. The first light on the horizon was spectacular, and then the sun just broke that horizon ever so slowly.
Well, Gleno's first time in the Gulf, I had to experience sunrise. So I was up nice and early. It was just vast. It just spread and spread and spread forever through the horizon. It was absolutely beautiful. Got some great photos. It's something I'll cherish forever.
Next morning dawned and all Kenno wants to do is stick the boat in, you know. And we've got this beautiful little river creek next to us, but nah, that's not good enough for our Kenno, is it? He figures there's got to be somewhere better, so off we go.
Oh, beautiful morning, eh, guys?
How good is this?
I'm going to stick to the high side a bit, though. A bit wet over there.
Yeah, mate, it's a bit soft in areas, isn't it?
Hey, Ken Dog, what's on your plan for today?
Hopefully finding a creek that we can chuck the boat in and go fishing and have a great time.
Got any baked beans ready for lunch, Gleno?
I've got the microwave. We can heat up spaghetti or baked beans, John.
We ended up finding a river, and it was perfect to put the boat in. So we're looking for just a launching spot to get the tinny in the water, and it was about 100 metres down. And being the lazy buggers that we are, we thought we'd drive. And didn't that turn out to be a fantastic idea?
I'm bogged.
Yeah, the back end's just sunk straight through the crust, mate. I stopped it before it went too far, though, I'm hoping.
This was unreal. We were stuck, we were bogged. The 79 wasn't moving.
Max tracks or winch?
Probably both. Got to put the max tracks onto the back wheels, give them something sturdy to get on, and we'll winch it out.
Look at how wet this is here.
Yeah.
Look at this. Man, that's straight through.
Okay, Gleno, I'm foot on brake and idling when you're ready.
Okay, mate, I'm going to start winching.
You're pulling me in. Where are those max tracks, Kenno?
I'm not going to get them out.
Really?
They're buried under 20 tonnes of mud.
Okay.
Do you want me to get the other two off and try it again?
Righto, we'll try and get up on top of these when Kenno's done, eh?
Okay, we'll give it a try.
Am I moving at all?
Wow, that's seriously second level soft, isn't it?
This is quickly turning into a disaster.
Maybe get Kenno to pull the rope off. Just do a quick wrap on your bar. Oh, good.
We'd worked on Gleno's car for a while. John started bogging down as well. We thought it wouldn't be a good idea to have all three cars bogged down. Then what are we going to do? So we decided to get John high and dry,
I'm up.
hook onto the back of the trailer and pull me out, get me out, and then we'll concentrate on Gleno.
Oh, the look on Glenn's face when he realised that he was just going to be sinking for a while. First thing he wanted to do was try and power out, which he did try to do. The truck just sank. And I was starting to get really worried too, because that's about when we realised the tide was coming in really quickly.
Hey, John, mate, we haven't got a lot of time. No, in the last half an hour, mate, that's risen heaps. And have a look out there, this water's flying in here.
So instead of having a great time in the boat catching elbow slappers, we spent the next couple of hours sweating it out, trying to get our vehicles out of the mud before the tide rise and lose all the cars.
That should be on free spill, can I? Oh no, stop. Mate, how about I pull you right up next to me just so you can maybe just go up around the back.
It was turning into a disaster. Both trucks were almost nose to nose. We'd virtually run out of room to manoeuvre. If it didn't come good soon, we're in real trouble. The last 15 minutes, it's come up almost a metre. It's amazing.
Can you blokes get behind, give us a push?
Around here, you know, things are really desperate when the crew has to drop everything and just join in and help. And that's what happened this time.
I don't know if we're going to have enough.
Actually, maybe another one on this rear first. Everyone out of the way.
Stop.
Thank God for these match tracks. I tell you. Can we steer away from that crap? Okay, so where are my wheels? My front wheels pointing the right way?
Right hand down. Keep coming. Right hand down. Oh, sorry, left hand. We got to get out of here. It's not just the fact that the water's coming over the top of these flats, it also soaks the ground underneath. So everything underneath is getting softer and softer as time goes on. So we had to move fast.
And the whole plan was to get him turned around so that he was back facing us, because it would have been impossible to find a winching point for him or for anyone else to pull him out as long as he was horizontal to the beach.
We all clear?
Halfway through the 180 degrees Gleno had to turn, he found enough traction, he gave it the berries, and off he went.
Go, 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 go. The coffee machine is on the move! Woo-hoo! Let's go fishing!
Hey, yeah, get stuffed.
I'm starting to think this fishing thing's not working out for me.
It's a real sense of relief, you know, just getting Gleno out, but at the same time, the water's come up that fast, we just needed to get up the beach, check it out, and get going as fast as we could. All I'm thinking about is, wow, what's going to happen to our campsite? Is that going to go underwater? And the creek right behind it that we had to cross, and then the salt pans behind that. I mean, we could have been stranded there.
Yeah, can we pick up some speed too? I want to go a bit faster. We were coming down the beach and that tide was still running in really quick. There wasn't a lot of beach left, so we just had to gun it. Let's go put the boat in, Kenno said. It'll be fun, Kenno said.
Told you we should have done the baked beans and spaghetti, John.
Funny old place, the Gulf. You know, the tide had come right up in the river really quick. It was still coming up in the estuary, so we got across it.
I'm going to pick a new path on the exit too. It's looking squishy already.
And we got out of there before it got too wet. I don't know if we were too much in front of it though. On the way out, we had to be really careful about the trees and branches we'd pushed down on the way in, because now they're all stakes pointing right at us. Kenno still wanted to put that boat in. I mean, fair enough too. He's pulled it an awful long way. So we found a nice campsite on the main river and we helped him drop it in. Is that Kenno the crushed, Kenno?
Come on, guys, hurry up. Let's go fishing.
Geez, old Kenno's keen, isn't he? Kenno had the bright idea of sliding straight into the river. Just like all these other bright ideas, this was a flop.
I don't know what John was up to before we got in the boat. Bit of black magic or something.
Kenno, have a look at your anchor, mate. Watch the anchor. Watch the anchor. It was the only thing I could think of. Hypnotise him, you know. Maybe that'd change something. We W fish killer.
You have to catch fish.
Let's go get dinner.
Cool. That might work. Nothing else has.
Getting in the boat with John and Kenno is always an experience.
It's kind of like being in a boat with an elephant and a mouse. You just don't know which way to lean in case the thing's going to flop over.
John likes to be in control of all situations, so we kick Kenno out of the driver's seat.
I reckon if we're going to go overboard, I'm the one who's going to be in control of it.
It was good to get out on the river. It was like a sheet of glass. It was beautiful. Kenno didn't catch a fish though. He's friggin' useless.
I reckon I got more chance braining the stupid things. Here, fishy, fishy. You know what I'd like to do? Stick a great big V8 in this thing. I don't even know why we bother. If Kenno's around, there's no point fishing, really, honestly.
Caught a leaf fish.
Fish must go. Kenno's here. Let's go to school, because they're not hanging around his rod. I reckon this fishing is about as exciting as sleeping.
I quite like sleeping though.
Yeah.
Here you go, John. You want to go?
Which end do I hold?
You hold that end. Watch out for Glenn.
You just throw the whole lot in the water.
No, you don't. That's an expensive rod.
I hate this fishing thing sometimes. Well, actually all the time.
And then finally we caught something.
Damn it, tree!
Uh-oh. Don't lose my lure. Don't lose my lure. That's my favourite.
Shut up about your stupid lure. Get out of this boat. It's cold beer in the fridge.
What's your rod?
John and Glenn had had enough. They wanted to have a beer. So I went out on my own. There's something about being out on a river like that by yourself, in a boat. Turn the engine off, just float down the river with the incoming tide, flick lures under the snags. It's quiet. All you can hear is the wildlife around you. The sun going down over the trees on the side of the river. It's just beautiful. It's something that I could do for hours and hours and hours on end. The fishing went well. It was awesome.
Now I'm covered in line because the lure decided to fly back to me out of the tree.
Just the fish didn't show up.
We thought that might be the case, Kenno.
We'd had a quick dinner. It was getting late. I think John's sweet tooth switched on.
We had some pastry left over from some pie making. We had a few bags of odd chocolates and we had some cream. First step was just to crunch all the chocolate up, cut it up with the knife. I had to cut it up with the knife because it was frozen and there was biscuits in it because it's Tim Tam. Then I scooped a spoonful of the chocolate mix onto a little square of pastry and had a bit of fun wrapping it up. Brushing a bit of milk on top, that's just to help it brown. I put the rack that I use for bread and stuff like that in the bottom of the pan and just arranged these little pastry chocos around it, just enough for all of us. Then the lid goes back on the pot, a little bit of coals underneath and a whole lot on top. There's not that much heat in this kind of timber. I reckon it probably took nearly 30 minutes before they were brown enough to eat. This is the nearest thing to a chocolate meat pie with a bit of cream instead of tomato sauce. Absolutely delicious.
They came out beautifully. They tasted like Snickers bars wrapped in pastry and cooked.
I reckon Gleno liked them. He came back for 3. There you go. Totally different. Absolutely terrific. No, darling, they were oat clusters.
Coming to the end of the trip, we decided to pamper ourselves and drive to one of the many waterholes that Lorella has to offer.
Oh, this is beautiful.
It is, mate. It's been a couple of days of dirt and grime and dust and sweat and...
So good, mate. So good to watch.
Kenno!
Oh, it's beautiful.
It is, mate, isn't it?
I thought these nudie hot springs were supposed to be warm, though.
Nudie?
Yeah.
It's not here, mate.
That's not here, mate.
Not here.
What do you mean?
Every trip that we do leaves a special place in my heart.
You're on.
Yeah, right on. I'm going to do something cultural like play the piano on Milo's roof rack. Sure.
But to actually cut a new track and know that other people will use this track and get out and experience the same things, it's right up there with one of the best that I've ever done.
It's going to be now my ambition to get my family back here and show them the things that I've learnt along the way, find some good water holes and catch some big fish.
Biggest thing I got out of this trip was just how big our country is. I've seen probably more of this country than a whole lot of people, but you know what? It just seems to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And here I am coming to Lorella Springs, a new place, and knowing straight away that Red, who's been here for 30 years, hasn't seen it all. How big is our country, guys? How big is our country?
Gleno, you are glowing today.
I am.
There's a big hawk flying at the drone, Gav. That doesn't mean anything.
Keep an eye on that.
3 hours of rolling along through the bull dust, and here we are, right on the G point spot. That's not good. Okay, go again with that. How much is this truck worth again, mate?
Not much at the moment.
So, Glenn, what's the best thing about the crew you work with?
Oh, the crew's pretty special. The producer, she's a bit of a cow. Working 12 days straight. Any more than 3 days in a row and I'm ready for a holiday.
I know, because I've got to use a naggy.
Yes.
Trying to do some arm lifts with it.
No.
You know, people always ask me, how was your holiday? Yeah. I feel like punching them. Holiday?
Are we rolling? Are we rolling, Mr. Rollings?
Yep.
One more thing to do.
As every chef does.
Ah! You're feeling very... Kenno? Chookie! Here, Chookie, Chookie, Chookie! I got a nice black sausage there. Oh, hang on. Can I refresh that?
Shows your black sausage.
Hey Gleno,
Hey, yeah.
you know you come along on these trips to do the dishes as well?
I thought that was the only reason I came along.
Oh no, it's not the only reason. You
Oh,
got
the
that
microwave
machine,
too, and the coffee
obviously.
machine, yeah.
Need to swim and beach down.
Need to swim. Oh, yeah, I'm in.
That's right. Yeah, that's what come in.
Faces.
Oh. Is there anything else? Please make me feel loved.
You do carry a lot of long life milk.
Always good for
Yeah. We love you. What are we doing here, Mel?
Trying to get a splinter out without much luck.
How are you feeling, John?
Oh, really good. This is actually the high point of my day, Gav.
John just keeps bleeding and making my job harder.
Caught a stick. Hope you're filming that.
We lost all our Cocoa Pops. Truck.
Look, everybody was getting them just a little bit too much.
Yeah. Now they burst and they're down the side of the fridge.
There was an addiction happening, so I had to get rid of them.
Yeah.
But the guy started spooning him up out of there.
Well, I don't know, guys. There's 2 lots here, 2 lots there. Crash, bang, wallop, bang, crash. Yeah. And I think up here we only got a crash, bang and a wallop.
Yeah, I reckon we go to crash, bang, wallop.
I got it! I got it! I'm the winner!
You know I'm after you.
You know what I like?
What?
Mel said I don't have to do any cooking or anything tonight if I do fishing.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I think she was lying
She
to
said,
get you
"Take
in the
the night
boat.
off, Roothy." She said,
There you go, I caught a tree.
drink beer.
Look at that.
Have fun.
Uh-oh.
This is worrying me because all these waypoints are the same. 135, 48. You sure these aren't all the ones to the bar here? Hang on, we've been going around in circles for 4 days.
Bit of time here.
Rhett invited us to dinner. It was quite nice of him. Very hospitable bull.
Gotcha.